Welcome back to the channel, Crypto Tro. I am Crypto Tro, bringing you the latest and greatest in cryptocurrencies. And today, man, we're going to talk about DeFi kingdoms and how they just did 100K plus jewel burnt, man. We're going to also talk about some of the other things that's coming to Crystalville. We're going to talk about Cyrodiil 2.0 and just the recent AMA that they just did last week. So we're going to get into that. But before we do, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and also tap in to my DeFi Kingdoms playlist, man. I'm telling you, got a lot of alpha information on there that you can get into, that you can learn about DeFi Kingdoms and much, much more. And also, I gotta let you know, if you didn't know already, I know I talk a lot about cryptocurrencies, but I am a Deegan. And if you don't know what a Deegan is, it's a degenerate gambler, man. So I am not whatsoever a financial advisor. I do crypto because I believe it's the future, but you have to have a mind for yourself and you got to invest in what you believe in. Don't listen to these YouTube maxis, people who just telling you to buy something. Know why you're buying it, know the use case for it, know the utility, know what that cryptocurrency is doing and is trying to do in the future, and invest in it. But always consult with a financial advisor before going too deep into any asset. So that's my little spiel. Let's get straight into it. DeFi Kingdoms. Let's check the price of Jewel and Crystal. So currently I'm right now on Dex Screener, and we can see right now Jewel is at 17 cents, man, on the day. So not too bad. It's like I said, it's a good entry point in my personal opinion. Get in it at the 17 or that 15 to 17 cents range, because I don't know, it might not be the bottom, but I think it's close to the bottom, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, but you know, with the macro stuff that's going on in the world, inflation, things like that, ain't no telling how far the price may go down. A lot of people are projecting things or assets in general to go down as we face this, or as we face whatever we face as far as on the macro scale, on the worldwide things. But like I said, I do believe it's close to the bottom. And, you can try to time it, but I always tell everybody dollar cost average, man. Dollar cost average. If you would have got in that July or June, you could have got in at 11 cents and actually made some profits on the way up. But like I said, still super, super early, man. Still super early to call it. We are in a bear market, so you can kind of expect for things to kind of go down or fluctuate in between. But at the same time, like I said, it depends on what's your strategy. Me personally, I'm in accumulation mode. So I'm just buying really Crystal cheaper than I originally got it for, because I really originally bought, or not Crystal, Jewel rather. I originally bought Jewel at 20 cents. So it's below my original entry point. And with me being in the liquidity pools for a year and all of that, of course, I'm in profits, but it's below my original entry point at 20 cents. So I just been stacking Jewel up like crazy below my entry point so I can get a better dollar cost average. So let's look at Crystal. So now we are on the Crystal chart, and as we can see, man, Crystal went up to 40 cents in August. Based on this, it went up to almost 40 cents. You could have made that move, and then it came back down. So we kind of see it just fluctuating right now, going crazy. Like I said, it went up to 40 cents, and now we're back down at 23 cents. You could have got in also at that 17 cents mark. So like I said, it's really on the uptrend. As of right now, these past couple of days, we've seen Crystal been on that uptrend, man. So you could have got in and made you some profits on that play as well. But at the same time, like I said, we are in the bear market, so you kind of gotta you don't want to just play with it too much. I wouldn't say take a big risk, but we could see further downside. So just take caution if you plan on buying Crystal. But if you plan on playing the game and buying Crystal, then I wouldn't necessarily worry too much, because I believe owning heroes or owning the hero NFTs are a good hedge against inflation, especially when you're dealing in the crypto space, because if you level up your heroes, they're automatically going to improve or become more profitable when you level them up, because they are better heroes than a hero that hasn't been leveled up. So if you can get in and start working the game, playing the game, and actually level up your heroes, I believe that's a good way to beat inflation and kind of just maintain your Crystal. So let's get into it, man. The AMA. Let's get into it. The AMA on the 22nd. This was 5 days ago. They actually did 2 AMAs on the day. I'm not going to read the other one. I'm not going to even read this one in its entirety, but just want to talk about some of the things that or that caught my attention, and also some of the things that I talked about in the beginning as far as the jewel burn. So, milestones. So they turned off questing last week. RIP Serendale 1.0. Basically, most of the transactions from the two chains are now consolidated onto DFK chain. We saw our transactions skyrocket and saw some cool milestones. We hit it with no issues. The trajectory we are headed at, we had to ask to see if we could sustain this long term. We had to analyze this with Ava Labs and Magmas was involved in this. Looking at the usage, memory usage, CP load, etc. Magnus, can you update some on that? So what Magnus had to say? Well, over the past few weeks, we've been targeting a gas fee increase with the goal of ensuring chain stable over time. This was a proactive step we were looking to do. Then we saw a high value over the weekend, particularly with Ava Labs come to increase the fees. Just on gas fees, it's a balancing act. Things on both sides of the equations, making sure it's stable, and the validators and the other side is keeping gas fees low in terms of USD. As more transactions are submitted, validators have to work harder to keep up. So, in the short term of this, we know that gas fees are pretty much going to go up, not by too much, but by a little bit, man, because they have to have or be able to handle all of those transactions on the chain. So they said they want to keep the chain as stable as possible. We can also tune a rough target for the amount of gas we want to spend per 10 seconds. Just to give a comparison on DFK, we are doing 10x the transaction volume of C-Chain, seeing 20 to 30 transactions per second, where C-Chain is seeing 2 transactions per second. We still have several times lower in terms of USD though. We are nearly 110 transactions on DFK chain, while C chain has 200 million to date. We will likely surpass that soon. So, if you've been following my DFK videos, DeFi Kingdom videos, you know that I announced the 100 million transaction on DFK chain, while Avalanche, the mainnet C chain, only has 200 million. Now we know it's not a lot of projects, or it is a lot of projects, but it's more so not a gaming project like DeFi Kingdoms on the C chain, which you really wouldn't want to have anyway. But that's why DFK has reached the transactions, just because everything you do pretty much in the game, even if it's micro, it's a transaction. Like going on quests is a transaction, creating potions, transactions, buying things, transactions. So you're going to see those transactions count up even faster, because on these play to earn games or crypto games, everything is pretty much a transaction. So pretty much, why is gas going up? So we know, or if you didn't know, DFK chain has 8 validators with beefy specs and can support high volume, but we are headed towards a decentralized system where anybody can become a validator. So right now it's only 8 validators, not a lot of validators to really just be decentralized, but at the same time, when you have that type of centralized validators, we making sure everything is going through. So just starting off, it's probably best to have, a small amount of validators so you can make sure everything is successful, especially when you're kicking it off. So we have to make sure fees are enough to cover the infrastructure costs to attract more validators to come secure our chain. So that's part of the reason why gas is going up, because you have to be able to pay these validators to secure the chain. And with all these transactions, there's just more and more work going into being a validator. So just as a reminder, half of all jewels spent on gas are burned, 25% go to the quest fund, and 25% go to the validators. It's very different from a lot of models in other blockchains which mint new gas tokens for the validators. So we have a deflationary model. As more transactions are placed, there is less and less jewels. So major key, man, major key. Especially last night, we turned out the Guardian missions in Serendale, so there are no jewel being minted, or no new jewel being minted. Every day there will be less jewel. That's largely in part of the DFK chain burning jewel and things like dual jewel or dual burning jewels. Then summoning and other transactions burning jewel and crystal. It's amazing to see some of those milestones and seeing that we are being proactive so that we can continue this high volume. So that's one of the things I'm super bullish on, because with all these transactions, we're going to see Jewel continue to be burned and burned each and every day. And although the transactions and is just 50% of the gas fees, you got to think about it. We already at 110 million transactions. Think about once it hits a billion transactions, 10 billion transactions, and so on and so forth. All of those gas fees are being burnt. Well, 50% of the gas fees are being burnt. So very bullish. It takes out the market, and it just increases the scarcity of Jewel itself. Now, even though the gas fees have increased, let's just take it in for context. So for context, Harmony a while back was at 1, then they changed to 50, then again to over 100. So we are still quite a bit smaller than the base fee of Harmony, and having it be dynamic ensures that it scales up and down based on the load. Looks like it's averaging around 11. So compared to Harmony, which went from 1 to 50 to 100, Jewel or DFK chain right now is right around 11. So even though the fees or gas fees are going up, we do still see, compared to Harmony, it is much cheaper, or not necessarily much cheaper, but it's more sustainable, where it's not fluctuating and you don't truly know what's your gas fee. So something else that's major that caught my eye is now you are able to multi-quest starting / competing out. So super excited about it. Can't wait for it to use on our own heroes. We are getting down to the last minute refinement. It's actually already out now because this article is old, but that's really exciting. Next week we are working for more parity items. Pets are a big one that we are trying to finalize. We have some of the contracts moved over and working on getting them hooked up and applying the gas, or applying the different pets from CV and Serendale together. So all the parity is coming out in DeFi Kingdoms very fast, man. The parities are coming out. We will have a full Crystal Veil very soon, and I'm very bullish on this. So something else they want to highlight were the Kingdom Builders update. So want to highlight a different couple of people we didn't hit last week. So we see Adventures and DFK. They have great tools and great information and a great feel of community. The Expert, if you are looking for infographics and trying to understand the game and strategies better, this is a great place to get some guides. Then you have DFK Earn, where they're P2P swap. Now on DFK chain, you can swap any items within the game with other folks. Great service there. Check it out. Excited to have them build on DFK. So like I was saying, the Jewel burn was crazy, especially from the Raffle Master or the Duel Season 0. We can see with the duels on Serendale 1.0, we saw 100K Jewel being burnt. And we can see with Duel Seasons, we burned 100K Jewel from the Raffle Master itself, and 100K were sent to the Quest Fund. It's a good case study on how these minigames using the raffle system can result in a lot of Jewel being burnt and a lot of Jewel going to the Quest Fund. Excited to see other apps out there that are building. So very excited to see that other people will be able to participate in the Raffle Master, where Jewel will be burnt, or I believe in this case, Crystal will be burnt, because we are on Crystal Veil. So Crystal will be burnt, but Jewel still will be burnt in the process of doing the transactions, so because every transaction actually burns Jewel. So you get the best of both worlds, because with the duels, Crystal will be burnt, but Jewel will be burnt when you complete the transaction. So if that makes sense. So with, how we had duels on Serendale, and you had to actually put Jewel up for the duels, well, it's going to be the same thing on Crystalville. Instead of Jewel, it will be Crystal, and the Crystal will be burnt, and we will see a massive Crystal burn as well. And that's very bullish for both tokens, because the more transactions, the more Jewel we burn, the more duels, the more Crystal. So something else that caught my eye. So duels, it's a great idea for giant raffles, maybe a monthly one with a larger prize. So Frisky basically said how we created the system was very flexible, so that we can have any number of raffles that last any amount of time and have it be under the same system. Is that possible? Yes, and it probably makes a lot of sense. Maybe we'll do some for valuable items like Gen Zeros that will be fun and cool to do. As part of the changes that we are doing for duels, we will be changing the frequency of some of the raffles too, so this may be a good time to do that now. Plus, we'll have other mini games feeding into the raffle system. So with the two new ones that will be using the raffle system, DFK Arena and DFK Flight Club, that will be a lot of fun. Yeah, 2 confirmed and others are pending, so at least 2 of them will be using it for season 1. So with the timeline for the closing of Serendale, but as far as the timeline for what's next, NCV, duels, level 10 professions, then rewards for top leaderboards from preseason. What about those? So duel season 0, we are working on some of the airdrop rewards for some of those, and some of the categories we are looking at for those are pretty cool. Looking at things like how many duels fought, highest score, win-loss ratio, etc. Need to finalize the number, which I'm trying to pull from the chain to submit to the tokenomics committee before it's approved. We are getting there. So we'll be very, 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 very bullish once this actually drops and people start to see like, okay, we getting rewards from the duels. Let's continue to duel and let's burn that jewel, baby. Let's burn a jewel. Let's burn a crystal. Let's keep the ball rolling. So duel season 1, we obviously changed up a lot that will entail a lot of testing. The main thing we changed was how we do the matchmaking. So I'm not going to read this in its entirety, but basically to sum it up and say, they're going to change it where in the new system, you will be matched up with people who are on the same level as you. So with duel season 1 or season 0, it was kind of just like a soft launch, you know, nothing too major, especially with Serendale 1.0 being turned off so soon. So with this one, you will play against other heroes or duel against other heroes that actually have, you know, close in the same type of level and same type of stats as you. And it's going to be major because a lot of people felt like they were cheated in the duels because only the best heroes were playing. If you were a hero or somebody who had like level 1 heroes or, you know, just got started on the game, it was kind of unfair if you haven't already been in. So, like I said, it wasn't a failure, and we can see from the numbers, we see it's 400K duels in Season 0. It was 100K jewel burnt and 100K jewel into the quest fund, and I think this next one is going to be bigger. So, going to go crazy. We just waiting to see what's happening next, and then we can see, okay, duel Season 1 on Crystalville is going to go crazy. It's kind of already understood in my personal opinion. So a lot of people been asking me about the jewel and the X-Jewel pool and what I'm doing me personally. What they said in this AMA, I'm not going to read this entirely because it's a lot of stuff to read, to be honest, but I'm just going to sum it up. Basically, if you still have X-Jewel, man, make sure you send your X-Jewel over to Serendale, convert it back over via the bridge, and then bridge your jewel back to Crystalville. I know that seems like a lot, but it's really not a lot because we already did it before, and it's very simple. But that is how, you know, you can pretty much get your jewel back. And they already said that they want to pretty much not cancel out X-Jewel because on the Harmony 1 decks, you still will have X-Jewel. It won't be in the interface, but of course, they're still shutting Serendale 1.0 down, but you'll still be able to have your X-Jewel, but they're moving away from it. So you're going to want to have, you know, your standard jewel on Crystalville, and then once Serendale 2.0, you will be able to bridge the jewel then. But they are working on a new jeweler, and they said something about like C jewel and also a K jewel, maybe that's going to be on a Clayton, but we don't know yet. It's still super early to call. But like, if you want to get into more details of it, make sure you read the AMA. Make sure you shout out Sandwich Punch too. He makes all the AMAs for DeFi Kingdom, so you can check him out on Twitter, Sandwich Punch, and go to his Medium articles, and it's pretty much of AMA transcripts of every AMA that DeFi Kingdoms has had. So all in all, man, just wanted to show you how DeFi Kingdoms continuously adds value to the users, man, and we continue to see how they build out even through a bear market. And like I say, when you have community, when you have a good team, and when you have utility, those are 3 things that I look for in the cryptocurrencies, and DeFi Kingdoms have them all. And then with the burn that's going on with Jewel, man, with the gas fees, it makes me even more bullish in the long run. So that's my video for today, Crypto Tro. Like I said, check out my DeFi Kingdoms video, man, ASAP. You get a lot of alpha information on there, and more information is coming soon. So stay tuned. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Crypto Tro, I'm out of here.